Well, I guess we'll get right into it. I'm not sure this isn't gonna echo. If there's any sound at all. What the? What the? I don't know what I'm gonna do. Stand by. No idea what I'm gonna do. Hold on. Don't know why that's not. Crap. This doesn't have any sound. Why would I ever not want that to have sound? Well, that's not the problem. I guess you will have. God, that's gonna echo. Why would I not want that? Oh wait, that's from that. Echoing in too many places. Okay. That's off. That's turned down. That has no sound.
Hello, I am Mayor Alonzo Jones, and I just want to share my thoughts about how we, together, can work to overcome the health issues and the health crisis. During my time as mayor, I have repeatedly talked about the importance of partnerships. I want to emphasize that a little bit more today. To protect ourselves and each other from COVID-19, it is so critical. I just can't say it enough. So critical that we each do our part to please stay at home. And remember, as partners, we are all in this together. Thank you so much.
Fuck you, Alonzo. What? That was shorter than I thought it would be.
Well, hello, I'm Mark Aaron with River City TV, and today we are at City Hall. We're joined by City Manager Ken Larkin, who's been gracious enough to join us today and talk about some new implementations that are going into effect today when it comes to municipal operations. And Ken, appreciate you taking the time to join us today.
Thank you.
And we're talking about city buildings and things of that nature going into effect today, really by appointment only to access those buildings. Can you kind of give us an overview and the thought process of what's closing today?
Sure. And all the buildings within city government are open to those who have appointments. Otherwise, we're not allowing flow-through traffic, walk-in traffic, that sort of thing, just to limit the number of people coming through our public buildings and potentially exposing our workforce and really, frankly, themselves to any of the COVID-19 viruses.
And when we talk about these buildings, for people who may not be familiar, we're talking City Hall, Public Works, Financial Service Center, Fire Department, of course, Police Department is in City Hall, so the same things apply there. Anything else? I mean, social services, I know there's limited access to there as well.
That's correct, yes.
Okay, so those are your main buildings that you may not be familiar with here in the city of Danville that are limiting access. They are open by appointment only. And then, Ken, I know just over the last couple of days we made some announcements when it comes to with the Financial Service Center. I know we've received some calls at River City TV just about are they open. They are open for business, just in a modified way, right?
That's correct. Well, at the Charles Harris building, anybody can drive through if they need to pay it by cash or if they want to pay in either way, really. But we encourage those who are paying by check or by credit card that we have plenty of options available for customers to do that. They can go online to pay by credit card. They can mail in a check. They can drop off a check. So really, if we can limit the number of people going through the drive-through to those who are only paying cash, that would actually cut down on traffic.
Very good. And again, the Treasurer's Office announced yesterday they will be modifying access to their office as well. You can conduct business the same means as with the Financial Service Center. And again, we have
know that we're asking Americans to do a lot.
All of the information that
so
we
we're
are
asking
disseminating
everyone to be selfless for others so that we can protect those who are most susceptible to this virus.
A question I often get asked is why should young people care about the spread of coronavirus? Well, we know that people with underlying medical conditions over the age of 60 are at highest risk, but they've got to get it from somebody.
Social distancing is really physical separation of people.
It's what we refer to when we ask people to stay at least 6 feet apart.
Not going to bars, not going to restaurants, not going to theaters where there are a lot of people. It all just means physical separation so that you have a space between you and others who might actually be infected or infect you.
We all have a role to play in preventing person-to-person spread of this disease, which can be deadly for vulnerable groups. For more information on how you can social distance,
I swear that's supposed to be muted. What the absolute hell?
Please go to coronavirus.gov.
Well, hello, I'm Mark Aaron with River City TV, and today we are at the Virginia Health Department here in the city of Danville, and we're joined by Dr. Spillman. And Dr. Spillman has been gracious enough to join us today to kind of talk a little bit more about, of course, COVID-19 and ways that we can stay safe here in our community. And one of those ways, of course, is keeping your distance. And as you can see here with our interview with Dr. Spillman, we are officially, I think, about 6 feet apart. So, yes, I think we're keeping social distancing at a maximum here as much as possible for this interview. But Dr. Spillman, I appreciate you taking the time to join us today. I know we were here about 2 weeks ago talking about COVID-19 and steps that we could take to stay safe here in our community. And I know as of, that taping, we do have, of course, the one confirmed case here in our health district. And just wanted to start with that and give our viewers kind of an update of what you can share with that one confirmed case that we have here in our community.
Yes, first of all, thank you for the opportunity to talk with you and to share this with everyone out there. Yeah. And it's a pleasure to have you here with us. What a difference 2 weeks makes.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And in another 2 weeks, who knows? And at the end of this, we'll go, boy, we're sure glad that's over.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think your question about the case that we announced yesterday in the Pennsylvania Danville Health District, in that we described a gentleman in his 40s who had tested positive for the COVID-19 by laboratory confirmation, and he had been exposed to another positive person elsewhere in Virginia, and he is in a hospital currently, local hospital, and for his privacy, just as we would afford anyone, I can't really go into other details. If it was anybody else's family, they'd want their certain things not discussed.
Absolutely. And how do you all handle, I guess, as a health department, tracking the footsteps of that individual, say, over the last 14 days and trying to get in touch with who they may have been in contact with? And I know people in the community have been asking, how do they know where he's been? And what is the best methods that, as a health department, that you all use to kind of track that?
We use basic epidemiologic techniques that the Centers for Disease Control and the Virginia Department of Health and even the World Health Organization employ in any other kind of case. It's not rocket science, but it's a lot of work, and it's basically a lot of one-on-one. Any one person that has the COVID-19, we do our best to develop a list of contacts for at least roughly 14 days back. And that would mean anybody and everybody that they would be in touch with in relatively close quarters or for a period of time. Period of time is, we don't have an exact amount, but we're using a 10 to 15 minute window for that. And of course there are other factors. But we take that and we then contact or do our best to be in touch by phone, at least, if not other ways, but phone is easiest for everyone. Every single person that's on the contact list, and from there we might have developed more contact lists. So very quickly it could mushroom into quite a number of people, depending on the situation. Hopefully it's relatively small, but so we do that, and our epidemiologists are working very hard and getting very tired already, and we are assembling a group of people to not only help with calls, but also help with contact investigation. People that work in the health department, and we've had a number of people in the community who have volunteered, and we also VDH has a good Medical Reserve Corps, or MRC, that also volunteers, regular citizens. So we're looking to take advantage of all this kindness and these expertise, and to use that to help as the problem grows, to have the number of people that help us grow commensurately.
That's great. That's great to know. I'm aware, of course, that all the hard work that the health department is doing with just this one case that we have there. So it's definitely great for the community to be able to hear that. And the people that may have been in contact, so do they self-quarantine themselves? Is that the recommendation if they're don't have any signs or symptoms? Or
a lot goes into that. It's always a combination of clinical and epidemiologic, I mean their contact as well as their symptoms. Are they having any symptoms or not, and what's the nature of them? And at the very minimum, again, it depends on the exact circumstances, but at a bare minimum, we would ask them to observe themselves for 14 days. Even if they don't fit the criteria to be quarantined, they might fit the criteria to just watch themselves, take their temperature a couple of times a day, keep a log of that and a log of what their symptoms are. And if they start to progress or get more symptoms, that's the time to contact us, and we may go from observation to quarantine. In terms of recommendation, if they develop symptoms, we also advise them to contact their physician to determine, number one, is it due to other things, the more common things. As I mentioned earlier, the horses, not the zebras. And then if it's sufficiently...
What did you just say? A horse is not a zebra?
Observation to quarantine. In terms of recommendation, if they develop symptoms, we also advise them to contact their physician to determine, number one, is it due to other things, the more common things. As I mentioned earlier, the horses, not the zebras. And then if it's sufficiently significant, then their doctor can arrange for them to get the testing.
Very good. So if anybody out there is watching, and we've talked before we went on camera, it's allergy season now. I know when I'm out mowing the grass, I can yell, you get the cough or the runny nose. So a lot of people out there are going to be, feeling a little under the weather when it comes just to allergies during these months. And a lot of people, may be could this be COVID-19? What are the steps that individuals need to take if they're feeling under the weather? I know if they contact their primary care physician, more than likely it's going to be something else, and that primary care physician is going to be able to pinpoint that, right?
Very, very likely, yes.
Okay, great.
We look toward the more common things being the most likely explanations, particularly with allergy season being kicked off a little early here. Things are blooming, and if you know you have allergies, that's very likely what's going on. There are also other things that their doctor can test for, very simple respiratory viruses, make sure the person does not have influenza or even strep, and then, more than likely it'll be one of those.
Yeah, so that's the first step. See your primary care physician and hopefully handle all of those.
Right, contact your doctor's office before you go in and see how they want that handled.
Okay, and then they have a list of criteria that, if you meet these certain things, you could be tested for COVID-19, right?
Correct.
Okay.
Right now.
All right.
It's a bit of a process of elimination, ruling out some of the things that we just talked about, and then if the symptoms are significant enough, then the person then might qualify for the actual COVID-19 testing.
Okay.
It just depends.
Okay, very good. So, Doc, I guess the best way to stay safe is adhere to, of course, the warnings that you all have been putting out, along with the CDC, on social distancing, staying at home, don't travel if you don't have to. But what are some of the ways that we can do that here in our community to keep those numbers of COVID-19 down in our area?
Well, one of the first things to do is quite frankly, is not to panic.
Right.
Yes, it is serious. Yes, for some groups of people, it can be more a threat to their health and perhaps life than others. But it is a virus, and many people will probably have a mild case. Most people will get over it and go on. In the meantime, so the biggest things are a combination, very simply, of hygiene measures and social distancing. So by hygiene measures is wash your hands, wash your hands, wash your hands. I can't tell you how many times a day I wash my hands.
Sure.
I lost count. either if you have to cough into the bend of your elbow, okay, but preferably a tissue or a cloth, preferably something you can dispose of, and then the hand sanitizer or wash your hands. Clean and disinfect surfaces, and there's some general things in the grocery store or other stores that you can get for that. Just soap and water will help. If you are sick, stay home. Sure. If you are out and you see someone ill, try to stay away. The social distancing of just the 6 feet is an important thing, because usually the droplets in most people won't go past about 6 feet, and then they'll kind of fall down to the whatever surface. So it's a little harder to breathe them in if you're beyond 6 feet. The other is that I was watching the Governor Northam's 2 o'clock press conference on Facebook, and the big things are avoid large crowds. We've already closed schools, or Governor Northam has, for the rest of the school year. That means no classes, doesn't mean no school work. And restaurants are basically closed except for takeout. And we do want people to still support their local restaurants to keep them afloat. And they have good food, too. Also, I know a lot of churches and other houses of worship are going to virtual or other ways. And, so there are a number of things. Don't touch your hands to your face, particularly your eyes, your mouth, and your nose, because those are mucous membranes, and the virus, any virus for that matter, any germ, gets in more quickly and easily that way. Just try to do all the other things that people have talked about. It's a great time to practice all types of great hygiene at home that sometimes we feel like we're too busy to do. This is an especially important time.
Very good.
And the others, be kind to each other.
Yeah, absolutely.
And try to laugh at least once a day.
That's good medicine, right? Huh?
Yeah, it's always the best medicine.
Well, we appreciate you taking the time to join us today with our viewers and just kind of giving us an overview of what the health department is currently doing during the crisis, and how we move forward, and hopefully no more cases in our community. But unfortunately, what we've seen across the country, that's probably unlikely. But we can all do our part to try to, level the curve the best we can. So, Doctor, we appreciate you taking the time to join us today.
Thank you very much. My pleasure.
And thanks to everybody here on River City TV for joining us. You can continue to follow us along on our social media platforms, giving you up-to-date information on the COVID-19 virus.
Initially stuff out there. Facebook page. Get on Facebook and stream it, because that's weird. But it might be on their Twitter, if they have a Twitter. And that's slightly better. I'm not even following him. I might have been following him before. Oh, maybe it's the other one. Weather update. What does that mean? April 24th. This isn't anything about weather. Social distance. Recommended guidelines to ensure the health and safety of employees and customers. Limit the number of patrons in the business to 5 people per 1,000 square feet. Wait. That's what I'm looking for. Require customers to observe 6 feet of separation at checkout lanes and place markings on the floor to encourage that amount of physical separation. You know, that's fucking ridiculous in itself. When did they make the markings that are on the floor? Like they weren't planning to come up with this stupid thing. Have a store ambassador at each entrance sanitizing shopping carts and limiting entry based on maximum capacity. Good God. It's like they want us to get used to this or something. Encourage customers to purchase non-essential items online or by curbside pickup. Online, of course. Clearly mark aisles within business with one-way arrows to direct shoppers to the store. Require all employees to wear masks covering both mouth and nose. It's like they don't want us to breathe. Provide customers with a paper towel and disinfectant in order to clean hands and shopping cart handles. They haven't even done that. Offer senior citizen hours? What the fuck does that mean? Allow customers with no access to internet to make phone-in orders. Oopsies. Cleaning my keyboard and pressing too many buttons. Oopsies. It's too early to be doing this. Okay. On to the next one. Saw that on Facebook already. Is that the only thing on their Twitter? Ew. Scammers don't take a break for COVID-19. This video talks about scams related to this crisis and how to protect yourself. What?
With the fear and uncertainty of COVID-19 rising, scams are appearing in multiple forms, taking advantage of the public. Government officials at all levels are With the fear and uncertainty of COVID-19 rising, scams are appearing in multiple forms, taking advantage of the public. Government officials at all levels are seeing fake testing kits, medications, treatments and cures, email and phone phishing, crowdfunding fraud, and PPE scams swarm the nation. And cures, email and phone phishing, crowdfunding fraud, and PPE scams swarm the nation.
Yeah. Every single one.
At-home COVID-19 testing kits have began to emerge online, advertising quick and easy testing, which is currently not possible. With the shortage of approved tests, it's easy for the public to fall for the quick and easy appeal of these fraudulent tests. Most of the non-approved test kits can be found online. However,
April 14th.
online. However, some scammers are going as far as dressing up as doctors and scientists to sell their tests door to door. Normally, random internet cures and home remedies are red flags for consumers, but the uncertainty and desperation of the public is causing citizens to fall into the trap of fraudulent medications, treatments, and cures for COVID-19. The FTC and FDA
Fuck you, Dove. Fuck, quote-unquote,
They are fighting these sellers and urging consumers to be aware. There is currently no FDA-approved
What location trends?
medication, treatment, cure, or vaccine for COVID-19. If you or your agency has reports of COVID-19 testing or treatment fraud, the FDA asks for it to be reported to the FDA's Health Fraud Program at the link in the description. For years now, email phishing has become one of the most common ways scammers target Americans. While most Americans are normally aware of these scams and know tips on how to spot them, scammers have latched on to the information-hungry public to develop tricky phishing emails. While most Americans are normally aware of these scams and know tips on how to spot them, scammers have latched on to the information-hungry public to develop tricky phishing email scams that mimic messages from the CDC, World Health Organization, and other well-known medical entities. These emails are well executed, including links that appear helpful and full of information, but when clicked, it downloads malware on their computer, stealing their personal information. With the federal government passing a bill to send Americans COVID-19 relief checks, scammers have developed another phishing scam via email. These legitimate-looking emails claim to be from the government regarding their stimulus checks. For tips on how to spot a phishing scam, read our full report in the description below. If your agency is experiencing reports of internet phishing scams, report incidents to the FBI's Internet Crime Complaint Center and the National Center for Disaster Fraud. The links to these resources are below. When it comes to charity scams, scammers are using crowdfunding sites and social media to falsely raise money for PPE for first responders and medical expenses for COVID-19 victims. The FTC and DOJ are urging consumers to report charity scams to the BBB. Another scam launch.
Got him.
Law enforcement is beginning to see is targeting PPE and other valuable health supplies. These scams are being perpetrated by professional criminals and everyday people, capitalizing off the virus. Sites like Amazon, eBay, and Walmart have seen many third-party sellers price gouging products like hand sanitizer, disinfectant wipes, and PPE. Lack of proper PPE and cleaning supplies puts frontliners in direct harm when doing their job. To avoid PPE and supply scams, do your research on the product and company. Make sure the product is FDA approved. Avoid buying from websites you are not familiar with. Be wary of sellers that do not provide delivery information until after payment, and if it's too cheap or too expensive, avoid it. The president has signed an executive order prohibiting price gouging in an attempt to deter scammers. The DOJ is launching investigations to carry out the order. One of the most important weapons officers can have on their belt during this time is being informed on all scams and information related to COVID-19. Being knowledgeable on the virus will allow you and your agency to be ahead of scammers and keep citizens safe. ROCIC's goal is to help our members perform their duties more effectively. In addition to all the investigative resources that we offer, RIS has developed a COVID-19 website to serve as a hub of information for officers from a variety of resources. To read the full report on COVID-19 scams, visit the RIS COVID-19 website and view many other resources. See the description below.
Okay, Twitter doesn't have any. What? Alright. The next video, I guess. Why is this one so much bigger?
Greetings, this is Mayor Alonzo Jones. As the situation regarding the coronavirus continues to evolve, so does our city's response. To our citizens of Danville, you may feel a certain level of concern over how this disease could affect you or your loved one, or if your community and local health care providers are prepared to respond to any local cases that may arise. At this time, there are no confirmed cases of COVID-19 in Danville and Pittsburgh County.
Scary.
As the availability of testing increases in our area, our citizens will likely see its first positive COVID-19 test. When that happens, it does not mean that it's time to panic. I repeat, it does not mean that there's time to panic. Please remain calm. Let me assure and reassure you that we, with the support from our many partners, stand ready to assist.
Oh,
I can assure you that we are
staying calm is good advice, but then he said, "Oh, we're here to help." They're live right now, apparently.
Closely monitoring the evolving COVID-19 situation, and we have been working with our local health district and following guidance from the Centers of Disease Control and Prevention to ensure our community is prepared with the appropriate plans to detect, protect, and respond should anyone in our community contract or be exposed to this virus. We know that this increased precautions may seem concerning. We do not, I repeat, we do not want to cause alarm, but we do want to send a clear message to our community that we are prepared, responding appropriately, and are committed to protecting the well-being of our entire community. Our local health district is providing guidance and support to all our local health care delivery providers. They are the conduit to the CDC, the health department.
That's not reassuring. Where did his first message go?
Hello, I am Mayor Alonzo Jones, and I just want to share my thoughts about how we, together, can work to overcome the health issues and the health crisis. During my time as mayor, I have repeatedly talked about the importance of partnerships. I want to emphasize that a little bit more today. To protect ourselves and each other from COVID-19, it is so critical. I just can't say it enough. So critical that we each do our part.
That's not what I want to do.
By 7. Now, no one can handle another voter's ballot. So if they vote and they say, oh, I'm afraid the mail won't deliver it, the individual, him or herself, has to come in with their own ballot. It's in the instructions. No one can hand deliver it for anybody else.
Okay, just to confirm, Tuesday prior to the 19th, which is the 12th, you need to have, go ahead and get your application. You have to submit your application by Tuesday prior to, which is now Election Day on the 19th. That gives the registrar's office time to mail you your ballot, and then you have until Election Day at 7 p.m. The ballot has to be returned to the registrar's office, whether it's mailed in or in person. So, Peggy, anything that we failed to mention? I thank you so much for the overview, and I know you're also working on Republican primary. They delayed that for 2 weeks.
Democrat and Republican primary. I have two primaries going on.
That'll be another animal for another day.
Yes, we're not going to confuse the voters. We're not.
Let's just get to May first.
I will say, it was something I was going to say right before you brought up the June primary with the May about the voting, and it's gone out of my mind, and so it probably will never come back again. Oh, the sample ballot is on my website. The city, go to voter registration.
Seriously. It's Peggy again.
Well, good afternoon to all our Facebook followers. We are live today at the voter registration office here in the city of Danville. We're joined by Peggy Petty, who is the general registrar here for the city of Danville. And Peggy, we're talking about absentee balloting because, of course, amid the coronavirus outbreak, I know the local board of election is actually urging people to utilize absentee balloting for the upcoming May elections. We've got city council, we've got school boards, so I know phones kind of been ringing off the hook with people. Hopefully they're going to take advantage of this so they don't have to go out to the polls during May. Going to make it very easy for them to vote via absentee. So tell us a little bit about that process and what some of the changes are in place now as we move into those May elections.
Okay, the main thing to realize is it's a two-step process when you do absentee by mail. Okay. An application has to be completed first, and that just has pertinent information, name, address, last 4 digits of their social, and they do have to...
What we're voting for.
Well, good afternoon to all our Facebook followers. Thank you so much for joining us. We are at City Council Chambers here in City Hall. We're joined by City Manager Ken Larkins. Just a little while ago declared a local state of emergency, and the city manager has been gracious enough to talk to us a little bit more about what that means. Of course, this is a fluid situation when we're talking about the coronavirus, but we do want to first off stress that there has been no confirmed cases of the coronavirus in the city of Danville or in our region, which is a great thing. But Ken's going to tell us a little bit more about why we declared this and then what that means for, some of us here in the city of Danville. So, Ken, appreciate you taking the time to join us today.
Absolutely, and I'm glad to talk to you all. The main reason why we're doing this is not to, create any kind of panic in the community. Really, this is a step that needs to be taken in order to get resources as necessary should something happen. So by declaring this state of emergency following the federal state of emergency and the state state of emergency, we're able to access resources that will enable us to better provide services to our community. So this is just a proactive measure, not necessarily meant to send out any kind of panic to anybody, but it does demonstrate that we're serious about things.
Very good. And there was one thing that we'd like to stress when it comes to utility cutoffs. Can you share that with our viewers?
That is one step that we've decided to take, is that in the period of the state of emergency, we will be suspending the disconnection of utility services for those who are subject to disconnection because of late payment of their bills and that sort of thing.
All right, and then again, we are still, the Financial Service Center is still open. We're just asking maybe just use the drive-through for those payments, right?
That's exactly right. Please, respect the workers in our Charles Harris Center. If you can pay online, if you can pay by check, if you can go and just drop your check off in the drop box, we have plenty of options to keep up to date with your payments. For whatever reason, you need to be at the Charles Harris Center. As a last resort, go in person. Don't bring everybody with you. Just bring who you need to bring with you. Quickly take care of your transaction and go ahead and go home. That's the best way we can protect you and protect our workers as you all continue to try to do the business of working with the city.
And we talk about continuing that business and protecting the workers and the great job that they do. I know you've been looking in this hour by the hour and making some changes when it comes to keeping that level of service where it needs to be for our citizens.
Absolutely. We're looking at a lot of options with regard to making sure our workforce is healthy so that we can continue to provide essential services to our community. That is one of our number one priorities. I mean, right now in a crisis like this, we want to protect the health of our community. We also want to protect the health of our coworkers so that all those essential services can continue to be delivered, like trash collection, police services, fire services, emergency medical services, that kind of thing. Those things have to happen at all times, and especially during emergencies. So what we've done is we're implementing certain policy changes to enable a little more flexibility with leave for employees and some other steps in place so that we can protect the safety of our workforce so that they are here and ready to work for our community.
So, well, Ken, we appreciate you obviously taking the time out of your busy schedule to keep us updated. We love the transparency. I know our citizens really appreciate you coming on with us and sharing this. Again, local state of emergency, city manager going into effect, obviously, noon today until April the 7th. Is that correct?
That's correct. That will be the next time that our city council will meet in regular session, and at that time we'll make an assessment as to whether or not it needs to continue or if things have passed.
Okay, and again, we have the website there on the screen. Please visit that website. That is all the local information that is coming from the city manager's office in one central location, so you have an idea of what is going on hour by hour here in the city of Danville. If any pertinent information is coming out of the city manager's office from city council, it can be found on that website. So please use that website for information. And of course, the CDC, the World Health Organization, those websites on a national level can give you, of course, the generic information on how to stay healthy during the crisis. So I appreciate you taking the time to join us today and sharing this information with our citizens.
Thank you very much, and thank you out there for those who are watching and sharing it with others so that the news can get out. Thank you.
Well,
good morning to all our Facebook followers. Thank you so much for joining us live. We are inside of City Hall, right here in City Council chambers. We're joined by City Manager Ken Larkin this morning. And Ken, we really appreciate you taking the time to join us today to talk a little bit more and give our citizens an update, of course, on COVID-19, of course, a fluid situation. And I know we've been monitoring it hour by hour. And just over the last 5 days, a lot has changed, not only here in our community, across the country. And I just wanted to kind of give our viewers an update on what we're doing on the local level.
Sure.
And a lot has been happening. And I guess we'll take it back to early last week when things started changing rapidly. We started seeing cases in the Commonwealth. I know even before then, we were taking proactive measures here in the city of Danville just in case an outbreak would occur.
That's right. A couple of weeks ago, we were talking about this. We have actually got an emergency operations plan in place that covers all manners of emergencies that happen, that could happen. Hopefully they never do happen, but they might happen. And we adopted this plan, probably years ago, and we constantly review it every year, every few months to make sure that we're up to date with the latest ways to respond to various things. And there is part of the plan is to what to do to respond to a biological incident similar to what has happened here. And so about a week or so ago, as things were starting to progress, I asked our fire department to take a look at the plan to make sure that it was as up to date as possible. They reviewed other plans in different areas and made sure that we were all kind of up to date on the most recent guidance on things. So we've got this plan in place right here. It's several pages long, and it talks about what the roles and responsibilities of all the key service providers are throughout the community so that if something were to happen here, that we knew what to do.
That's great. And you talk about key service providers. Last Thursday, we had a meeting with all of those critical infrastructure individuals here in the community. And tell us a little bit about that meeting that was held last Thursday.
Sure. We were fortunate enough to be able to get our local leader for our Virginia Department of Health in to talk to all our service providers locally, to give them the latest information about what's happening, and then to provide guidance to them on how to best provide services to the community and keep themselves safe and keep others safe. So we went through that for about an hour or so, and then following that meeting, we had a discussion internally with city staff, the school system, and the hospital about what we can do in our roles as service providers to make sure that, one, we're serving the public in the best way possible, keeping them safe, and two, we're continuing the services that people expect to have provided because, frankly, if we're not doing the police, the fire, the trash collection, all the other things that city government does on a daily basis, most
with, without any fanfare, it would get noticeable if we weren't able to do it. So we've got to be able to continue those services. So we're talking internally about how do we continue those services should we have larger worker shortages, or people have to self-quarantine, or if there's an uptick in the need out there in the community. So we had a long discussion about that, and we're making plans to make sure that we're going to be able to continue to serve the community.
And this is one of the main reasons why I wanted to have the city manager on with us this morning, because this really gives you insight into what we're doing hour by hour here in the community. You're hearing the information that we're sending out about, of course, all our parks and recreation activities have been canceled for the next 2 weeks. Of course, school has been canceled for the next 2 weeks. In any of the programs at Parks and Recreation have been canceled. And then, of course, the Danville City Council meeting that was supposed to be held tomorrow has been canceled as well. But those things we're taking precaution, obviously, because the social distancing has become the term that we're using. There's the reason why we're doing that. But there's a lot of other pre-planning going on in case, like the city manager said, hopefully we never have to implement it, but we are ready in case we have to.
That's correct. And one of the things maybe the public noticed early on, a couple weeks ago, even on River City TV, you interviewed Dr. Spillman, talked to him about what people can do to protect themselves and protect others. So early on, we were talking about let's educate the public, let's let them know, wash your hands frequently, make sure that you sanitize your areas. Cleanliness is extremely important. It's amazing. Soap kills the coronavirus. So just, as much as you can, wash your hands, especially when you're in frequent contact with others. Don't shake hands with people. We're doing elbow bumps right now.
That's right. Yeah, that's it.
We're not doing the handshakes because really we're just trying to prevent the spread. And even if you're in an age group or in a group of folks that or if you're otherwise healthy and you're not worried about the impact to yourself, you probably have a grandparent, you probably have a mom, somebody else who would be impacted, and we can be carriers. You and I can be carriers of this disease, and if we're not careful about cleanliness and making sure that we're practicing all these safe protocols, then we are actually creating problems with the community spread. So please practice cleanliness, wash your hands often, avoid group activities as much as possible. I know it's tough out there where, the guidance is right now because of community spread that we have social distancing as much as possible.
Yeah, and I know the CDC just released that information of recommending activities of 50 individuals and below to be canceled for the next 8 weeks is what they're recommending. So I know the governor is saying 100 and below over the next 2 weeks, but CDC, of course, upping those recommendations. Again, a lot of this information, we do have our website address there you see on the screen. A lot of the information about cleanliness and washing hands and things of that nature. You can find more information about that. You can also find out about all the information we're doing here on the local level to combat this. Anything I failed to mention for our viewers at this moment? Because I know it changed. It'll be changed by the time this airs. But.
I think I just want to reiterate what you said about our website. What we've tried to do with our website is make sure that all the information in there is as up to date as possible. We are linking to other websites that are dynamic, and those are changing really hour by hour. I understand that this may air here soon, and in about 30 minutes or an hour or sometime after that, we're going to have new guidance from the federal government about different things that people should be doing to protect themselves and others. So I would just encourage people to stay up to date, check our website, check those other websites, CDC and Virginia Department of Health, and just be safe, be smart, and we'll be here as a city government to help serve you as best we can.
All right. Ken, thank you so much for taking the time out of your busy schedule to join us today and providing us a little background information on how we've been preparing for a couple of weeks now. We continue to do so. We hope an outbreak does not happen, but I think we are definitely prepared if it does. So stay safe out there. Practice that social distancing. We're canceling these meetings and these activities for a reason. We definitely do not want to see a spread here. And again, we have not had any confirmed cases of COVID-19 in Danville, Pittsylvania County as of this taping. So I just want to reiterate that to the community as well. So Ken, thanks a lot for joining us today. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Well, hello, I'm Mark Aaron with River City TV, and today we are down at the Danville Health Department. I'm joined by Dr. Spillman, who is with the Virginia Department of Health, and I know coronavirus has been in the news now for a couple of weeks, and today we just want to talk about that new coronavirus, COVID-19, the official name of that, and just let our viewers here in the Southside region know that our local officials
We're taking a proactive approach when it comes to the coronavirus. City Manager Ken Larkin, our local public safety officials are in contact with our health department here on a state and local and federal level when it comes to the coronavirus. And we appreciate Dr. Spillman taking the time today to join us to discuss a little bit more about the virus and what they're doing here on the local level to inform citizens about COVID-19. So we appreciate you, Dr. Spillman, for taking the time to join us today.
My pleasure. Happy to be here.
And let's talk a little bit about the virus itself. I know new news is coming out, it seems like every hour with the coronavirus, but new strand of this virus and the COVID-19, because I know there's been some misinformation that has gone out about older versions of the virus and ways that you can combat it. But where do we currently stand when it comes to preventive measures, I guess, for the coronavirus?
Well, before we get there, I'm glad you asked that question.
Yeah.
There are 7 basic types of the coronavirus. 4 are very, very simple, relatively innocuous, mild cases, and they are basically the common cold, and they typically affect the person from the neck up. The 3 that are the coronavirus are basically the ones that can get into the chest and lungs and cause potentially pneumonia, respiratory inflammation, and perhaps respiratory failure. The SARS that came out in 2002, 2003 was the first one, and then MERS came out in 2017 and 18, and now we've got the COVID-19, which is also SARS-CoV-2. So they're all a SARS variant. That's where we are in terms of what it is. Now, first of all, the risk to the United States, and particularly in this area, is extremely low right now. The risk is extremely low. There are only a few cases in the country, relatively speaking, and we meaning not just the Virginia Department of Health, but the CDC, the World Health Organization, are taking aggressive measures to not only prevent it from spreading, if at all possible, but at least slowing it down and giving us time to work on it. And with everyone's help, then we can allow better time for the VDH and CDC and others to develop even better plans to how to limit the spread.
And again, we do want to reiterate to our viewers out there, there are no cases of the COVID-19 in the Commonwealth of Virginia at this time.
That is correct. Okay. That is correct.
Now, as we move forward, I mentioned our city managers working with our public safety officials here on the ground to kind of recognize if anyone exhibits flu-like symptoms, how to deal with that, so they can get that information to you all in dealing with it. But is that what we're seeing with individuals who have contracted it? I know out west in Washington State there has been a couple of cases. The flu-like symptoms, is that what we're looking at?
Well, in a sense, yes, they're upper respiratory and lower respiratory symptoms. The flu-like symptoms, influenza is an entirely different virus, but it's it's wintertime. It's a respiratory condition. It's sometimes difficult to distinguish at first blush one versus the other. It makes it that much more important for everyone who's not yet obtained their influenza vaccine to go ahead and do that right away. Why? It takes a couple of weeks to get it fully in your system, get your immune system status fully up to par, and that does help distinguish between what perhaps is an influenza versus later, if we do or when we do possibly have a coronavirus, what that might be. Again, remember, 4 types of the coronavirus float around a good bit of time. They're just common cold.
All right. Well, Doc, we appreciate you taking the time to join us today. Again, a very minor risk to the public here, especially in the Commonwealth of Virginia. No known cases at this point in time as of this interview. And again, just taking those precautions as we go about our daily lives and monitoring the situation, and just knowing that our public safety officials and local administration are in constant contact with the individuals here with the Virginia Department of Health, and of course on the federal level at the CDC as well. So anything that we might have left out, Doc, that we want to give our viewers some information on when it comes to the COVID-19 virus?
Well, there are just a few things, and they're not, in that sense, they're not unlike any other cold, virus, anything, flu, anything else that anybody can get. First of all,
a good hand hygiene is so important. Wash your hands, use proper cough and sneeze etiquette. That means cough into either cloth, or if you have to use your hand, wash your hand right away, preferably into the bend of your elbow. Clean off surfaces. Viruses can live on surfaces for a few hours, depending on which one it is. Clean tables, desks, doorknobs, anything that's in your area. If we all do this type thing, we can, even though we're only one person individually, together, we can make a big difference in how easy it is or how hard it is for this or any other virus to affect us. And that helps us protect not only ourselves, but our family and our communities. So we're in this together.
Sounds good. Great information, Doctor. We appreciate, again, you taking the time to join us today and keeping us updated. Thanks so much.
My pleasure. Thank you.
How many cases did they?
We know that we're asking Americans to do a lot right now.
Preparation and preventing.
You taking the time to join us today. I know we were here about 2 weeks ago talking about COVID-19 and steps we could take to stay safe here in our community. And I know as of that taping, we do have, of course, the one confirmed case here in our health district.
Okay. What the? Okay. I actually have to read. Let's go in reverse chronological order this time. That's a lot of stuff. What's the difference? All this stuff is local news. Alright. Executive Order 55. Wowie. I just want to find what they posted on Facebook. That's not what I want. I don't want that. Wow. How many times can they write COVID-19? I don't care about the schools. I mean, I do. What the fuck is that? What the fuck is this? Don't fucking stay at home, people. Make this the thumbnail. Oh god. Oh my god. I'm surprised you're still allowed to go out and exercise. Since when? What the? What the fuck? Why is this fucking Java in the first place? No point in reading the fudged numbers. How did I get here? Let's make this regular size. What to do when you're sick? Danville Parks and Recreation. What the? I don't want a PDF. Economic developers within the Southern Virginia Regional Alliance. What the hell is the Southern Virginia Regional Alliance? Quickly moved to form emergency task force to collect information on economic resources for Southern Virginia companies. Below is a list of programs and resources currently available. Upcoming events. What is this? I want to go. Ensure the best e-commerce platform for small business. It's a Zoom webinar. What is this? I don't even know what day it is anymore, man. Well, that's today. What's the point of all this? Oh, these are different categories. Frequently asked questions about the executive order. Wow. What should I do if I see groups of more than 10 people congregating? You may wish to report this information to your local law enforcement agency. Damn it, man. I can't. I fucking comment. Did that work? What's up, homie? Attendees may travel to their place of worship, park in the parking lot, and listen to a religious message while remaining in their vehicles. Participants must remain in their vehicles at all times except as necessary to visit a restroom. There must be no more than 10 individuals leading the religious ceremony or functioning outside of the church in support of the religious ceremony. Any interaction by the faith leaders and those in the vehicles must be strictly limited, such as using social distancing methods when passing out palms, serving Holy Communion, using sealed or self-contained elements, and priests directing congregants to place ashes or water on their own forehead as opposed to priests applying the ashes or water directly on their foreheads. Any objects used for collecting monetary offerings shall not be passed from attendee to attendee, but may be offered to attendees in a vehicle as long as the object stays in the possession of the person assisting with collection. Appropriate measures should be taken for the safety of those functioning outside of the cars. Faith communities should also adhere to any noise ordinances. What? Additional guidance for faith leaders and faith communities. What does this mean? Wow. Food pantries, are they exempt? Of course not. This is hard to read. I can't read these italicized letters, man. That didn't open it a new tab. Am I required to present a documentation providing I am traveling for an essential purpose? Virginia law enforcement will not require documentation from individuals traveling outside their home. Trust me, enter the library restaurant procedure for restaurant only is merchant only to take out. Only restaurant. And goes in. Up to 10 patrons, no. I don't want to know about that. Since when? Bro, why did my mic mute itself? Anyway. Oh. Don't know how these things happen. I've been muted that whole time. Who knows? Pretty sure I unmuted it recently. Higher education shall cease all in-person classes, all gatherings between individuals, remote learning, critical research, for essential functions, institutions of higher education that can operate provided that social distancing requirements are made. About tired of reading that. Closure of all public beaches. All reservations for stays less than 14 nights. Campground. What about the parks? It was probably mentioned in Order 53. Ask questions 153. What is the actual Order 53? It's gonna keep citing Order 53. I'm gonna have to find it. I can't find it. That's not what I want. I could do a word find. Or whatever. Whatever that's called. Is it gonna be spelled out or not? Oh, it's only spelled out right there. 53. What? Where's the actual order, man? It's not here. Slayton Avenue. They're at the Institute of Advanced Research. Oh god, I found my way to the CDC's website. This isn't even the correct link. Got him. Alright. Go back. I want to get on their website. I clicked on that. And saw this nonsense. Well, here's the executive. There's only been 2 of them. Oh boy. Bro, why did my mic mute itself again? Oh, I know why. Because the shortcut key is my fucking zoom key. Zoom in and out key. Dang it, I thought I picked a good one. Damn it all, man. Whoops. I don't know what key to use. If I use the home button. Alright. Are we muted still? We're not muted currently. Oh crap, now it's gonna zoom up every time I hit the home. Oh well. Don't hit it very often. Which is the point. March 23rd. April 23rd. No, March. Meant March. Let's say March or April. This is March, not April. I'm so confused. It's April, not March. So all this is like really old information. I don't need business resources. I guess I'm just gonna go on Facebook and find summer paving. Leave that open. Facebook.com. I don't actually have to log in, actually, but I can find this first and then log out. Alright, open this in a new tab. So we'll check my notifications first. Alright. You mean login to continue? Alright. I think that works. I already read that. That was on Twitter. This is what I wanted to read in the first place. This is the end picture. News release. Who the fuck is Arnold Hendricks? Why is this so small? City of Dean, City Manager's Office, April 22nd. Good, that's not a month old. City Council on Tuesday night adopted a resolution that encourages local businesses to follow federal and state social distancing guidelines and safety procedures for the health. I really wish they'd put a hyphen there. well-being of their customers and employees. Gary Miller said the push for the resolution came from local health and infectious disease specialists who researched the practices of stores across the country. We see some stores in Danville that are doing part of these things, but we see stores that are abusing them badly. Many stores in Danville are too crowded, he said. They're not policing how many go into their store. Our numbers of confirmed cases are going up, not down. We need to continue to encourage social distancing. Number one, your number of confirmed cases doesn't have anything to do with your fucking social distancing. And number two, we don't need to encourage social distancing. Resolution urges all businesses authorized to continue operating Resolution urges all businesses authorized to continue operation to implement the following procedures. 5 people per 1,000 square feet. Clearly marked out with 1 arrows. 6 feet of separation. Mask covering mouth and nose. I've already read all that. Christmas recognize another's online. What the fuck does that mean still? Senior citizen hours. They're being practiced consequentially. These other things we're encouraging and we have the authority to mandate. We have no authority to mandate any of these things, only the government can do them. Well, who the fuck are you, Miller? Councilman Gary Miller. You can't trust what any councilman says. The resolution was adopted as council members met in the first virtual city council meeting in Danville's history, with council members and city staff logging in remote. We could watch all 3 hours of that. The city is under a local state of emergency. Earlier this month, City Council ratified the emergency declaration and adopted a resolution that allows for temporary changes to how public meetings are conducted to continue operations. Change to enable meetings to proceed virtually during this election. I want to see what Gary Miller looks like. Cardiology consultants. Wait, that's not the guy on the council board, is it? Well, there's the only one. We have more of a New Zealand claims elimination of coronavirus with new cases in single digits. Good on them. I can't stand New Zealand or Australia, to be completely honest. Alright. Stop it. I don't want to log in. That's the whole point. I just read all that. This stuff, that's just God stories. I was gonna read all these. Our local health experts tell us there is no safe place, only safe behavior. Staying home, practicing social distancing, and using proper hygiene are simple but vitally important ways to keep each other safe. I've never heard such a useless statement. Of the first part is spooky and whatnot, but so if there are no safe places, why does everyone need to stay home? Because they aren't safe yet. I report to people. Alright, let's see. We can't win the fight against just by wishing it away. We know that if people stay away from one another, they can't spread the disease to one another. Wow, I take it back. That's a useless statement. We know that if people stay away from each other, they can't spread the disease to one another. By staying at home, we not only protect ourselves, but we protect others. Behave as if you already have the virus. If we're willing to do what is necessary, we can get this disease under control. Fuck that guy, man. I don't know who the hell these people are. They're just another fucking council member. Oh, they're all council members. So far. I see a sign for this guy at a house at the bottom of my road. It says, "Don't complain campaign." But man, this guy is chewing everybody out. Okay, good for you, idiot. This is against Facebook's whole policy of criticizing people's comments or whatever, even sharing them. This is an unprecedented time in our lives, but we're all in this together and we can beat this. That means staying at home. This is the most important thing each of us can do to stop nonsense. Oh, look, it's Gary Miller. It's Dr. Gary Miller. No one is greater than anyone in this situation because this virus has the ability to attack bodies regardless of status, title, race, or religion. Stay healthy, be safe, consider others. This disease is a crisis that is affecting all of us, and it is critical that we each do our part to meet this movement by staying home. Without a doubt, it will save lives. You can't die now. You have too much to live for. I think that's a good stopping point. Blown away. Why is this guy on the city council? You go home. You go to bed. You retire. Stop infecting us with your insanity. Who should be social distancing? Everyone who is well. That's an evil fucking statement. Orwellian as fuck. Please join us in this most critical fight. I want to fight you, jackass. As a father and a husband, I understand how challenging this moment can be for families in our city. Right now, the best way we can come together as a community is by staying apart. We will come back stronger. Yeah, speak for yourself. It's the mayor, vice mayor, More council members. Town get to vote. Reasons. Family ties will be important partnerships to protect ourselves and each other. It is critical that we each do our part. Is this guy fucking brain dead? Why is he a mayor? It's like, thanks for the message. I think that's it. Department of Health. Precautions provide the best protection. Not every person who has been exposed needs to be tested. In most instances, a positive test would not change what a doctor tells you to do to get better. If this was actually a real thing, they wouldn't do a very good job of helping anything. Look at those reports from the Virginia Department of Health. Mayor Alonzo Jones say call on people to stay at home as much as possible. Practice social distancing when there is need to go out. Oh, I thought that was going to be the same thing as the picture said. Whoa. Still blown up from that. Well, not that this would be helpful in a real crisis, but this is all, I don't know the proper use of ad hominem, but this is all useless information in the first place because the Virginia Department of Health is all retards apparently. Oh, they actually put a hyphen there. I don't know why they don't put a hyphen anywhere else. Because they get one thing, right? I swear to God. Oh, look. I don't know, it was that short. It's all 3 pages of the 55. Why does it still say March? That's the last time there was an order, apparently. But it says it's only effective until March 30th. I guess they said April everything would go away. Or it's the first time they said everything would go away. Does this order affect hiking? Virginia state parks have closed visitor centers, but trails and outdoor spaces are still open. What's the point of saying people that aren't part of your household? Well, obviously you can walk your dog. You gotta walk. Well, you don't have to walk your dog if you have a fence in. Yard. I read most of this already. Beer, wine, and liquor are essential, really. Let's see. It says they're not essential, you dumbass. What are they not essential? Retail business. Except, oh, everything except the following. I'm the dumbass now. I was supposed to end the stream a minute ago. Well, this is all 4 weeks old now. Yeah. What? I just read this to your dad? Who are they talking to? They mean to share them? Financial services, free tax, fee, tax refund. Oh god. National Recreation and Parks Association. Because everyone deserves a great park. Do not use park to trails for exhibiting symptoms. Follow guidelines on personal hygiene prior to visiting a park for trails. Be prepared for limited access to public restrooms or water fountains. Share the trail and warn other trail users of your presence and as you pass. I didn't know there was a post. The name of the event wishes to inform our community about yesterday's order from the governor and state health commissioner. The restriction of repairing restaurants, fitness centers, and other theaters to 10 minutes. They really hate old people, don't they? Everyone is gonna get pneumonia. Good job, Center for Control. Okay. I think that's about it. Not even any new videos. Watch the one from earlier. Wait, what? Oh, it's a different. Shut up. It's a different page that has the other videos. Stop. This one.
Well, good morning to all our Facebook followers. Thank you so much for joining us live.
We are trying to pause it, not blow it up.
We're at the voter registration office here in the city of Danville, and you can see here.
How do I fucking minimize this? Videos. There's that one. Fuck no. God damn it. Who the fuck is that? It's Dr. Gary Miller.
Hello there. I'm Councilman Dr. Gary Miller. I'd like to talk to you about social distancing. No one is greater than anyone in this situation because the virus has the ability to attack bodies regardless of race, title, religion, or status. Stay healthy, be safe. Consider other people. If you're out, wear a mask and obey social distancing. We're all in this together.
What a joke. What a mess.
Hi, this is Vice Mayor Lee Vogler. As a father and a husband, I understand how challenging this moment can be for families in our city. And right now, the best way we can come together as a community is by staying apart. But we will come back stronger, and we're all in this together.
That's scary. Scarier than some fucking virus. What is the census?
Well, good afternoon to all our Facebook followers. Thank you so much for joining us live. We are out along the Riverwalk Trail, and I'm joined by Russell Carter, who is the communications specialist with Danville Parks and Rec, also your interim librarian director. Well, good afternoon to all our Facebook followers. Thank you so much for joining us live. We are out along the Riverwalk Trail, and I'm joined by Russell Carter, who is the communications specialist with Danville Parks and Rec, also your interim librarian director at the Danville Public Library here in the city of Danville. He's joining us today, a safe distance away, as we practice our social distancing. But I was perusing the Danville Parks and Recreation Facebook page this morning and saw a great video that they've been doing. If you haven't been following Danville Parks and Recreation, I know that their rec centers are closed at the current time, but they're doing some great videos on ways that you can stay active during this time. So be sure to like their page. We have tagged their page right here in this post. And go in and see all the great things that community recreation's been doing during this time of when we can't really get out and about. But Parks and Recreation is inviting you to come out to the Riverwalk Trail. It's going to be beautiful this weekend, but they want you to do it safely, practice that social distancing, and they've come up with a nice hashtag. It's called Chalk the Walk, and Russell's going to tell us a little bit about it as he's been patiently waiting my intro, a little bit about Chalk the Walk. I'm going to toss the mic to him so he can kind of explain it to you. All right, Russ?
Yeah, that's right, Mark. As a lot of people have asked us, we did close all of our indoor facilities. However, the outdoor facilities remain open. But we're urging everyone to, follow the CDC standards, 6 feet apart. The bathroom facilities are closed, so plan accordingly. Wash your hands before and after you come out. But yeah, while you're out, what we're trying to do is, and our staff came out and did it as well, is they took chalk, sidewalk chalk, just drew positive messages for each other. The whole idea is, all the communities out here, we have had actually a lot of use on the trail, so we want, come out, leave a message for each other. A little bit of encouragement goes a long way. These are uncertain times, and we're just all in it together trying to figure it out. So, if you come out, bring you some chalk, leave a message, take a picture of it, hashtag Chalk the Walk, tag Play Danville VA, River City TV in it as well, because we'd love to see the pictures. And it's just a good way, to continue to practice social distancing while encouraging.
I can't take this anymore. When is this? 3 days? 20 minutes long. Oh, this is the one that doesn't have sound. Of course.
Well, hello again to all our Facebook followers for another virtual meeting, kind of the new normal here on River City TV. We have a very special guest with us today. We have Dr. Stan Jones, who's the superintendent for the Danville Public Schools, and he's been gracious enough to talk a little bit about what the school system has been doing over the last month and a half. We lose track.
Shut the fuck up. Why doesn't it have that dude's name? Is that his email? Aaron? Is he an Aaron? Who knows? I don't care about that. I'm gonna do chapter on 32nd. Danville, YouTube.
So let's see, return the.
What are they doing? Standing there.
So again, if you're just joining us, I know we've got people coming in on the feed. Right now, as you can see, there's a large tree that is down across 58, and you can see it is taking out a main feeder line. Looks like there's one pole that is almost.
Oh boy.
Well, hello to all our Facebook followers on River City TV. We thank you so much for joining us for another virtual meeting as we continue our partnership with the Office of Economic Development here in the city of Danville, bringing you up-to-date information from players here in the city of Danville when it comes to the COVID-19 crisis. We have talked to the Small Business Association. We've talked to insurance agents here in our community. And today we're talking to local banks. And we're here with Jeff Haley, who's the President and CEO of American National Bank. And he is also...
I don't think I care. Design curve. Alright. I want to see the fitness tips. Good grief. What's that? It's the doggy king. That's boring. Later, dudes.